On today's video, we're going to do a little tour and history of our deer camp. Hey there, outdoor YouTubers. It's Dave Knetter from Knetter's Practical Outdoors. And like I said earlier, I thought we'd do a little video on the history of our deer camp and give you guys a little tour of the deer camp as it was and how it is now. Okay? Our deer camp is like a lot of deer camps. It's multiple additions. It's always a work in progress. And we started off with just this little log cabin part. It was nothing more than a glorified deer blind. And to turn this into a deer camp, one of the first priorities was to build an outhouse. And if you're ever kind of building an outhouse for the first time, take your time, do it right. Make it a tolerable place to spend a little time in. Now, as you guys can see, this little log cabin was pretty small, so we definitely needed to build a shed. A good shed is a great addition to any deer camp, but especially ours that first year, we needed the space. We needed that storage, right? And we did actually spend one deer season just in that little log cabin. And what we did is we had our sleeping overhead. And as you can see, we would pull a ladder down, and we had like a bunk on either side of that ladder. So we had like two overhead beds. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. And another thing you can see is that little cabin did not have very good insulation in the ceiling. You can see where all the snow's melted off, where all the heat was escaping. And you can also see that we set up a little ice shack next to the cabin just to give ourselves even a little more storage space. Yeah, that first year, when it was like time to sit down and eat, of course we didn't have room for a kitchen table, so we would just pull out a card table and then we would eat. And when we were done eating, we'd fold it up and put it behind the couch again. And we had a small propane heater, and that's what we heated that little log cabin with. And really all of our cooking was done on top of that, because we really didn't have any room for any kind of a stove or anything like that. So we basically would just warm stuff up on top of that little propane heater. And that was our first deer season, doing it that way. But after one deer season in that tiny log cabin, we were ready to put an addition on it. It was nothing fancy. It was just kind of an extension of the original camp. And I'll tell you what, just adding that small addition really was a game changer. That allowed us to have countertops, it allowed us to have a sink, it allowed us to have a kitchen table, and it was very much more like a normal camp at that point. We could have a tabletop cook stove. We didn't just have to warm things up on the propane heater. And we also were able to add one more overhead bed over in the new addition. It was kind of the same design as the two smaller beds in the original camp, where we would pull a ladder down and you'd kind of have to go up the ladder, and then the sleeping was overhead. But we actually had a double bed in the addition part. So now we were sleeping like 4 guys overhead. So we were really styling now. And then a few years later we added a sauna to the camp, and that really made things luxurious. Nothing better than taking a nice hot sauna at the end of the day, climbing into bed nice and clean and refreshed. But the actual camp itself remained this size for quite a while. And then after about 15 years, we decided it was time to add a pretty substantial addition to it. Really open things up. Well, you're the carpenter. Well, so then, once that big addition got built, what we were able to do is take that original log cabin part of the camp that was kind of our living room / overhead sleeping area. We're able to take that and turn it into just a pure bunk room. We're able to put 2 sets of bunks in there, and it was really nice to sleep on those bottom bunks and not have to climb up a big tall ladder and sleep overhead anymore. We really enjoyed getting that built, even just for that purpose. And one thing that always kind of played out the night before opening day of deer season every year for us, we'd be getting ready to go to bed, thinking about setting the alarms, and we'd always kind of look at each other and be like, what time should we be in our blinds by? We'd be thinking, when does the sun come up? And it was always kind of a question on our minds. So that one deer season, we kind of figured out, okay, 7 o'clock, that's for our area, that's a good time to be sitting in the blind, several minutes, before the sun's coming up, and we thought 7 o'clock was a pretty good time. So instead of depending on ourselves to remember that year to year, we actually wound up writing it on one of the 2x6s that supported the overhead bed. So we always had that magic marker on that 2x6 sitting at 7, and that was always our reminder that we wanted to be in our blinds by 7 o'clock. Well, we tore those bunks out, after we built the big addition, but we certainly didn't want to lose our reminder. So my buddy Scott made sure, and he used that same 2x6 in the new bunk room, so we wouldn't lose our nice little reminder that we need to be sitting by 7. So when we added that big addition, not only did it give us, an area just to have a bunk room, but it also enabled us to change up the kitchen area. We were able to add another countertop, have more storage space, have more countertop space for food preparation, all that sort of stuff. And then we essentially moved the living room area into the new addition. And we moved the kitchen table into the new addition. And it really worked out well. And we did have to add a pretty decent sized wood stove, because our little propane heater was no longer going to be able to heat the whole camp up. We definitely needed to go to the wood stove, which is great, and that wood stove really does a good job heating the whole camp up. It's no problem. Even in the dead of winter, that wood stove will heat the whole camp, no problem. And we tried to do it upright. We tried to give ourselves plenty of space. We kind of made the decision that this would be the last, major addition that we would do to the camp. So we made sure and made it big enough. We have a little room for growth, little room for, guests here and there. And just tried to do it upright so we could really enjoy the deer camp. The leg lamp is a shining beacon in the night at our deer camp. And of course, it's a lot more than just hunting, right? It's all the great food that you have at deer camp, all the great camaraderie, friends, family getting together.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And Gladys.
Redneck. I was expecting a little help from you guys. Can I eat all 5 of them right now?
Steaks on the grill, garlic bread, mushrooms and onions. Good. Try to grab the nuance of early fall deer camp. Just kind of getting ready for things.
The aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean you can get you know, Tom Selleck over there a little bit if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Arturo Fuente. Just sitting there, ready to be installed.
There's Nick. There's me. There's always something to do at deer camp, even if you're not deer hunting. We actually do use this camp year-round, all 4 seasons. There's always something that needs to be done, or something that's fun to do out there.
Whoa!
Yep, thin things out. A little money in the pocket.
Giver.
So yeah, we always have a good time out at the camp. Yeah, in this case, our buddy Al had maybe a little too good a time. He missed his turnoff at the Crawlers and Eggs sign. Gotta be careful out there, guys. Those roads during deer season seem to get a little more slippery than usual, so gotta be a little careful.
I don't have any venison, but
Right. That'd be a good one,
if I do get one, yeah, I think that would be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah.
You know, I think my dad has done a little bit of that. Marie has too. But yeah.
Yeah, I got all this stuff, and I got still got a jar or 2 canned venison from last year.
All right, guys.
You know,
Well, there's a little tour, a little history of our deer camp. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But hey, guys, remember to hunt, fish, laugh, repeat. This is Dave Knetter from Knetter's Practical Outdoors. Hey, thanks for watching and God bless.